What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn on the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at WillPod11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Recording Thursday afternoon. I feel like I've always started to preface this because with the Jets, you never know what's going to happen. Yesterday or 2 days ago, they just randomly traded for Jarvis Brownlee, which I talked about a little bit, and we'll maybe hit on that quickly. But John Jastremski was at the live show. I think this got to be fourth or fifth time on the show at this point. Resident Dolphins fans got booed out of the building at Stout in August. JJ, how we doing? We got the Yankees hat on, and the Blue Jays are doing what they do best. They're choking. How we feeling?
Yeah, listen, I feel great about where the Yankees are at going into the final week of the year, and it's rather stunning that the division is very much in play over the next 4 games. I can't tell you, Will, that I feel the same about our two respective football teams. And for anybody wondering, yes, I will be in attendance for the toilet bowl on Monday Night Football between the 0-3 New York Jets and my 0-3 Miami Dolphins. So it's going to be a whole lot more pain, anguish, suffering, all of the above for at least one of us on Monday night.
So I will say my initial reaction going in, if we were, me and you, we obviously talk all the time, but we're talking 3 months ago. I would have told you Miami's probably 1-2, maybe 2-1, depending on the New England game. I thought they would have beaten Indy probably, and then I don't think they would have beaten
lose to Buffalo. Yeah, because they always lose to Buffalo.
Yeah, like
of course.
I transparently thought Miami was going to be bad because I thought the McDaniel stuff was weird. I didn't like the Tyreek comments over the summer. There was a bad mojo about the team. So I was like, hey, they moved off some guys. The defense took some hits. So I'm not surprised Miami's struggling. And then I go to the Jets, and I would say I kind of also thought 1-2, 0-3 to start, just because really tough 3-game opening slate here, and then it kind of eased up. Now, I didn't think Miami would get steamrolled week 1, and I didn't think the Jets would lose by a combined 4 points in 2 of the games and then get steamrolled in the other one. I thought it'd kind of be like this competitive lose by 6 points every week type of team. There's been a lot of heat with Miami, as we know, right? No bones about it. And the Jets, there's been a lot of heat, more heat than normal. 3 games into the first year of a regime. Glenn's dancing on the sideline after the McDonald play. He's clapping at McDonald after the game. We're not the same old Jets. Long story short, what do you make, before we talk about this in actual game, like what do you make of what's transpired through the first 3 weeks of September?
All right, there's a lot to dive into. I'll start first from a Jet perspective. I don't think anybody should be surprised that they're 0-3. They were underdogs in every single one of these games. They probably, you know what I mean? Like, listen, They were a 3-point underdog to the Steelers. That was probably the game, Will, they should have won. Yeah. They had the 9-point lead, and they yucked it up late. We all know what happened there. The Buffalo game, it's not that they lost. It was how non-competitive they were from Jump Street, from the Clemens penalty to the Justin Fields turnover. You kind of knew it was off to the races for the Buffalo Bills in week 2, and that game was unwatchable. To be honest, the game against Tampa for 3 quarters was unwatchable. It was not good football. They were down big. This coming from somebody who had the Jets plus 6.5. That game was like the roller coaster of emotions because you're dead and buried. Then you're trying to draw up the scenarios on how you're going to get a backdoor cover. They get the Lazard touchdown, which was 50-50 on whether or not he was in bounds. Take it. I'm like, okay. Baker runs out the clock. Everybody wins. No, they go and line up for a field goal. And I'm like, this is just going to be anguish and pain. And this is how I'm going to lose the bet. And then the field goal block happens. But I'm going to ask you a question before I get to more of these narratives. You were in the building. You went down to Tampa.
Yeah.
Was there any Jet fan on planet Earth who thought they were getting a stop from Baker Mayfield, who's as good as anybody in the fourth quarter and is Mr. Comeback, even after the McDonald play? I'm like, he's going right down the field and getting a minimum in the field goal range. Minimum.
So I didn't know if they were going to get a stop. I will tell you, Lazard catches it, wasn't sure he fully caught it. So I was like, all right, weird. They got a little bit of stroke of luck there. They blocked the kick. We obviously all saw that. What was weird to me was, first of all, right before that, if you notice, Bowles took a 5-yard penalty instead of taking the timeout there, which was mind-blowing.
Typical Bowles.
Typical, overthinking it. We need the timeout, whatever. Jets score, and you're going out too much time. And Baker overthrows that first play by 10 yards. Would have been a walk-in touchdown. And I'm like, is this going to happen? Kind of Cleveland game over again, a couple years ago. Too many crazy things were happening.
It did have Cleveland vibes.
It did have that vibe. And then on second down, they got it. And then I was like, okay, they're going to go down and get in field goal range. They screened Shepard was just Sterling Shepard making you miss in 2025 is certainly a choice. But then it's like they line up for the field goal, and I'm like, he's probably making this, like 95% chance he makes it. But is there a chance he blocks this again? Like Tampa just totally pulls a 2015 Bulls situation. That's why, like, I didn't think they'd stop them, but I thought something weird.
You were hoping for some weirdness on the field goal.
Weird
okay.
Penalty. The crew was awful all day. So there's something. I thought something was crazy going to happen. Not like a boring. They just kick a 40-yarder and like right down the middle. That's not what I expected.
All right, fair enough. But the point being was you had no confidence that the Jet defense was going to be able to go and make the monsters stop. And
they weren't going to hit Baker. They didn't hit him all day.
That's been my takeaway watching them over the first 3 weeks of the year. The offense was really good in week 1 against the Steelers. Was that a byproduct of the Steelers? Probably. Week 2, they were awful. Week 3, they got better as the game went along, despite the back-breaking Tyrod Taylor pick 6. But I think from a Jet talking point standpoint, it's not the 0-3. And let me address a couple of things here. Aaron Glenn dancing on the sideline. First of all, I love it because I love dancing. So anytime I can work out the Aaron Glenn dance moves and he's shimmying, amazing. You just got to know if you're a head coach and your team goes and loses the game, you're going to be memed out to the high heavens. That one to me is, hey, that's an Aaron Glenn thing. That's his problem, not mine. The clapping after the game I found bizarre. Now, I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know if he was trying to direct it at an individual player, but like from an optics standpoint, if I'm a Jet fan watching the game on Sunday and my coach is clapping, whatever it might be, after the game is lost and after you lose in agonizing fashion, I, for one, don't want to see that. That's going to bother me a lot more than the dancing. But what would bother me more, Will, than anything is what I heard after the game. Because I thought Aaron Glenn was one of these guys, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. No outside noise. I don't care what people are saying about us. We're going about our process. We're doing our thing. And then I hear him talk to members of the media where he clearly sounded like a guy who's bothered by the outside noise. He clearly sounded like a guy who is listening to what a lot of the narratives are surrounding the football team. And I said this on the pod on Sunday. I said it on TV on SNY. I know Jet fans don't want to hear this because they're sick of same old Jets. You are, I am, we are. It doesn't go away until you win. It's same old Jets until it's not. Sorry. I heard this from Saleh. I heard it from Gase. I heard it from Bowles. The last time the Jets went out the same old Jets was Rex. Okay, when Rex was going and taking names and kicking ass and they were winning playoff games, then you know what? You weren't same old Jets. It's same old Jets until it's not.
Yeah.
You could say it. You could try to lecture the media. You could try to say it to your fans. It's same old Jets until it's not. You're a Jet fan your whole life. Was that a same old Jet loss on Sunday?
Yeah,
damn right it was.
So that's my thing is like, Glenn's, I don't think that the messaging's wrong. It's the timing on some of these. Like, he's not wrong that, like, on some of these situations where he's like, oh, this happened, or, you know, we're seeing this, or we believe in this, whatever. You're not going to rep some of these players publicly and these different things. Like, Glenn's presser on Monday should have been on Sunday.
Yes.
And the Sunday presser should have been on Monday. We're like, hey, he should have been, we're not the same old Jets because the same old Jets lose this game by 40 points. We showed effort and fight, and these guys have this dyingness to win. We're changing the culture, and a lot of the ways we're going to change it is like we're going to build on this game, and we're not going to be the same old Jets, whatever. If you want to use that term, it was more funny to me that Glenn was like, we're not the same old Jets, whatever that means. I'm like, bro, you obviously know what it means.
You played here. And listen, Aaron was here when they turned around the program. He was a part of the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
You could argue there was nothing worse than Kotite. Nothing worse than Kotite. Now, the last decade, maybe there are years, the Gase year, whatever year you want to say it was worse than Kotite, fine.
Yeah.
Semantics. But that was rock bottom.
Yeah.
He was a part of Purcell's in the turnaround. Aaron, we're not idiots. You know what same old Jets means. Stop it. Stop it. Okay.
Yeah. It's like when Aaron Boone's like says these certain things, you're like, oh, we don't hear that. You know, I'm not sure what the guys on John Boy like 2 weeks ago were like, do you know what, like, it was basically saying like being wild as a pitcher, but it being successful and like being like, whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole Yankees. But then Boone's like, I don't even know what that means. And then he said it on the press for 3 straight times. I'm like, fuck off, dude. Like, you obviously know what that, like being effectively wild is. The thing with Glenn and I guess I'll put it to bed here. Glenn talked, you know, today. He's like, this is who I am. It's who I've always been. He's like, and I think the clapping, the more you watch it, if you watch the he looks like he's clapping at McDonald, who almost blocked the second one. And if you watch Will after the game, he's like dejected, and it's like I think he's trying to. He said it today. He was like, I want to get these guys like when they make a good play to like have someone
preaching positivity.
Preaching positivity, and again, like it's not even about like the clap. Who gives a shit he clapped? It's the optic of like another heartbreaking loss, and you hear same old Jets, and you see Glenn clapping, and people.
It's just something you don't want to see. Like that's it. Like
you don't want to see that in the locker room when like you hear about like, wow, Glenn went over to Will McDonald and had a 20-minute conversation with him, like, dude, I've got your back. We'll get this right. What do you? I guess then you flip it over to Miami, and this is the gut feeling I get watching the last 10 days of Miami. Tell me if I'm wrong. We see this a lot. We get the players only meeting in week 2. They play better, crushing loss. We get the big game. No one believes in us against Buffalo. They played really well. That felt like to me, maybe it's the Jet fan in me talking, that was the last ditch. Like, dude, we just back-to-back weeks, like we tried and it's still not working. We're still not seeing the result. And then usually teams start to crater. I just have seen this so many times in sports where it's like, okay, players only meeting, that didn't work. Now we're going to go to the like, do it for the old ball coach one more time. And it doesn't work. And usually those teams fall apart. Do you feel like it's that? Or do you feel like they're sitting there going, all right, dude, we're actually close and the Jets stink and New England's not very good. We'll get them up in New England. You know, we played Buffalo tough. Like, which do you feel like they're going to do? Build off of it? Or is it, we played really well and we still lost by 10 plus points?
Let's put it this way, Will. I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah.
Because in theory, you have extra time to prepare for this game. You're healthier than the Jets are going into the matchup. I know they're not going to have Jackson. They're not going to have Daniels on the offensive line, but they're kind of used to not having those guys now for the next 2 weeks. I mean, listen, I'd take Austin Jackson, a right tackle, over the turnstile that they currently have, but, you know, that's the bar in Miami. When you have an average offensive lineman, they look like an amazing offensive lineman. Yeah. But regardless, I can see a world in which, hey, the Jets, they just brought in a second corner. They're searching for answers. They're not going to have Quincy Williams. How are they going to match up with Achane in space? Miami did a lot of good things offensively, but here's the dirty little secret. And you know this. I've been a big Tua guy. Tua has regressed dramatically this season. I don't know if it's the end result of the concussions. I don't know if it's the league catching up. I don't know what it is, but he has been turnover prone. His reads have stunk. And the problem he runs into, and he tried creating a little bit more in the Buffalo game, is that if that first or second read's not there and he's got to escape the pocket, it's this like uncomfortable, uneasy.
He didn't throw well on the run at all.
No, and this was not a problem for him, by the way, when you watch him at Alabama. And it honestly wasn't a problem for him early in the league. And that, to me, is where the concussions come into play. Because he's like, do I have to maybe wait an extra second, stand into this throw, knowing I'm going to get decked, knowing there's a risk I'm going to get concussed? Like these are like these sort of trickle-down after effects of everything that has happened over the last few years. And I think you're seeing it with this quarterback. So to answer your question, I'm not going to be surprised Miami comes out, puts up 30 on the Jets, who haven't been able to stop anybody. And it's like, hey, Carolina next week, our season at least is, I don't want to say back on track, but it's salvageable. I'm also not going to be surprised if these guys have one foot out the door. And let's put it this way. If they go and McDaniel, I think, to his credit, in week 3, coached a great game against Buffalo. Not a good game. I thought he coached a great game. I thought the game plan was great. They tried to keep Josh Allen off the field, which they were able to do, especially in the second half. Like, team came to play. All great. They lose to the Jets on Monday night. Well, that could be the end for Mike McDaniel. Like, let's put it this way. Nobody should be surprised if Aaron Glenn gets his first win and the Jets embarrass the Dolphins in any capacity, close loss, blowout loss, whatever it is, where Stephen Ross says enough. Enough. That could happen.
I think it's a hard game to read. It looks like Fields is going to play.
I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for the Jets. I don't know.
I can't tell because in some ways it benefits them, in some ways it doesn't, right? Like Tyrod's much better at, they both hold the ball for a fucking eternity, which drives you nuts.
That is true.
I think Tyrod's like 27th and longest time to throw, and I think Fields is like 30. It's insane. They both hold the ball for almost 4 seconds every snap. I mean, you're asking a hell of a lot. I know people are beating up on the O-line. Like when you've got one receiver and you know, a whole quarterback holding the ball for an hour, it's kind of tough. Point being, but Tyrod's good. Usually can run the offense at more of a like the more traditional offense, right? And some of the passing concepts, and he'll get Garrett the football a bunch and things like that. The other thing with Tyrod that's good is like clock management and different things like that. We saw that in the second half of getting the ball out early. The things with Tyrod that sucks is he holds the ball forever. He cost them 10 points on 2 horrible turnovers. And,
he can get hurt at any moment. That's the other thing.
He can get hurt at any moment. And you look at Fields, and the running game's way better with Fields in there, obviously. You have to count for multiple people. There's a chance you get week 1 Fields, and there's a chance you get week 2 Fields. That's the issue. Is he going to be confident running the football? Is he going to feel confident throwing the football? How's the mechanics looking post-concussion? Is he going to hold the ball forever? The Jets need to get the screen game involved.
They got to run the ball.
They got to run the football, and they got to like, JJ, I don't know if you feel like this too. It feels like early on, I've liked a lot what I've seen from Engstrand.
I thought he had a great week 1 game plan against Pittsburgh. Great.
Hey, first drive, we're just going to run it down your throat. See, we're the big, like, no, dude, can you not get a screen going early? Can you try to get an explosive shot? And then all of a sudden Miami's like, oh, shoot, this is going to be a good Fields game. We're going to have to really actually play coverage.
And then it's going to open up your running attack.
The run game. It doesn't always just have to be like run, open up, pass. It can also be, dude, what if Fields comes out on Monday night and he's playing and they run 3 straight pass plays, even if it doesn't work necessarily? They get 1 first down and punt. Miami's like, oh, okay, now I have to respect the pass a little bit because you've gone to it. Now at second drive, I can smash Breece Hall and Braylon Allen off the middle. It's just I want to see some creativity a little bit. I know Mike LaFleur was not perfect as a Jets OC, but I felt like when there was a breadth of talent, right? It's kind of a similar offensive cast. It's Breece and Garrett and a bunch of guys you don't love. I don't know. The reverse passes. It's not just like Arian Smith smoke screens. JJ, we get a reverse early on. Can we get some misdirection of weird wonky formation, some different things to like, can we go steal 7 points on the road? I just would love to see that.
And not only that, the Dolphins secondary stinks. Specifically the corners. I mean, they're playing Ashton Davis at one of the safety spots, but that's not even
Duck or whatever his name is.
He's hurt. He's probably not going to play. I got to give Douglas credit. They signed him off the street. I thought he had a great game against Buffalo. I thought he had a great game. Jack Jones is horrendous. He's absolutely horrendous. So there are teams that can absolutely exploit that from, what they bring to the table. The problem is the Jets, they can't because they have one wide receiver who can do that. But listen, get Miami on their heels. And one element of the Miami defense that to me has been very underwhelming, I thought their front was going to be really good at the beginning of the year. They've stunk. Zach Sealer, who I love, he's a tremendous player. He's gotten off to a terrible start. And he had a killer penalty on a roughing the punter in Buffalo, which was responsible for costing them the game. Chubb Robinson, can't find a guy over the first 3 weeks of the year. Now, Bradley Chubb has a sack in 3 games. Jalen Phillips, he's been okay. I don't like that they're dropping him in coverage as much as they are, but that's a schematic thing that's a schematic thing that your audience doesn't want to hear about. But the Miami front, which I thought was going to be a factor, hasn't been, and it makes me wonder, specifically inside, how much they miss Calais Campbell, not just for his abilities, but his smarts and how he can see things that an offense is doing because he's a Hall of Fame player and has seen everything you could possibly see, being an NFL defensive lineman over the years. Something to take into account.
I will finish with we'll do a quick baseball, here before you wrap. But this feels to me like everyone's going to expect a gross 16-13 type of game. This feels to me a lot like week 1.
I think there's going to be a lot of points. I'm with you.
We're in for like how did this game get to 38-36? And you're like, what just happened here?
Miami and the Jets is fun. And remember, last year's game, not the Rodgers finale, the Dolphin-Jet game in Miami was a very...
Jeff Wilbrick didn't know how to...
completely screwed the clock. And it was my most miracle cover of the 2024 season where I'm sitting there saying, how in the world are the Dolphins not only going to win, but going to cover 5.5? They get the ball in overtime. Johnny Smith right down the field. On and on we go. I'm with you. Because I don't feel good about the Dolphin defense. And the Jet defense doesn't look like JJ is going to play. Quincy Williams is definitely not going to play. And say this about Miami, they got 2 outstanding receivers. I thought Tyreek was finding a way to get open. Jalen Waddle, I thought had a real, despite what the numbers may say, like they made some big plays in that Buffalo game. And I think we're going to have like Like 31-27. I do. I think it's going to be one of those WTF type of games.
44.5, something like that.
So we're betting the over. We're betting the over on Monday.
We're betting the over, and I think we get a turnover at least from both quarterbacks. If you want to play some of those, I think probably a Tyreek touchdown, and we'll probably get something from Garrett. Let's finish up with baseball here. I'll say this about the Yankees. I think the Mets are the more interesting talking point. The Yankees should win the division over the next 4 days. Toronto is it's in their head. George Springer, by the way, fuck off, man. You are a bit part of
such a baby. Such a baby.
Biggest cheating scandal in modern baseball history, and this dude has the nerve to sit there. Oh, they're giving it to the Yankees. Well, they haven't given the Yankees a World Series in 16 years, so I don't really want to hear it. So hopefully the Yankees win the division. I think it'd be advantageous to be able to get. They somehow have like the best record in the American League right now after everything that's kind of transpired. Here's my thing with the Mets that concerns me. It's broken their way the last 2 days in terms of everyone around them losing. Pittsburgh's done them a huge favor, right? And the Mets kind of in control of their own destiny. I know Michael Kay hates the term destiny, but control their own situation. It feels like the Cubs and PCA last night, and the Cubs have kind of come out. Like the Mets pitching, man, I mean, they're getting tattooed like left and right. I turned on the game yesterday to check it out. It's like 9-2. I'm like, are we serious? Can the Mets win 3 out of the next 4? Because I think that's probably what it takes to get in the playoffs. Again, the Mets could beat anybody in the playoffs. We've seen them do it. They have Philly's number. They can get hot on offense. Soto's a demon in the postseason. But JJ, this has been like, dude, they're basically a 500 team right now. It's pretty disappointing.
500? Well, I'll take it a step further. They're like 17 under 500 over the last 4 months. 17 under. We talked about vibes. How vibes are not particularly high for either one of our two teams at the moment. And the vibe with Miami in the offseason was just off. The vibe with this Met team has been so off over the last few months. One, no, I do not think they're winning 3 of the next 4 games because Miami's a pain in the ass to play.
They're not good against the Marlins.
They don't play well against the Marlins. The Marlins have played really spunky baseball. After the month of April, they're over 500. And they're young, they're dumb, and they're going to be up for these games against the Mets. I think the Marlins are going to come to play. Here's why I still think the Mets might make the playoffs. These teams stink. Like the Diamondbacks sold off players. They need the Padres to sit guys. If they sit guys, they can absolutely win it. Cincinnati stinks. They just lost 2 games to the Pirates. You know what I mean? So you're right. Everything in theory would tell you, hey, 3-game series, Dodger bullpen not any good, nothing to lose, let it all hang out like it's baseball. Weirder things have happened. But if you're asking me right now, a week before the postseason begins, to tell you the vibe of the Mets is going to come close to what it was with OMG and Grimace and everything we saw last year, I don't see it, dude. Let's put it this way, Will. I don't know for sure if they're going to be in the playoffs on Tuesday. I will say without hesitation, I'm going to be stunned if by this time next week we're talking about the Mets playing in the division series. I don't see it.
It's going to be tough if they go in, I know the Dodgers have been very up and down, but it feels like, I don't know, Mookie and Freddie and those guys, like the playoffs come and
they'll find a way. Yeah.
They'll find a way and the bullpen stinks, but like those guys aren't bad players.
Well, and Will, how are the Mets getting anybody out?
I know. Well, it's just like
other than McClain, how are they getting anybody out?
Yeah. Who are you throwing for 3 games potentially? Last 2 things here. The Yankees, it certainly feels like, as much as I think Judge is the MVP, and I actually don't think it's particularly close, Cal has been amazing. Him having the best catcher season ever, no offense, there's nothing to do with winning the MVP. It just means he's had the best catcher season ever. Arguably, by the way, the Piazza Dodger season is better in every category except for home runs, so spare me with that. He's a cool nickname, and Evan Roberts put it great yesterday. He's like, the guy's had a huge ass. We don't have to make him the MVP because of it. This conversation of, does it benefit the Yankees if I spin zone this? Raleigh wins the MVP. Judge kind of gets on the 09 A-Rod FU tour a little bit in the playoffs. Is there any validity to that, or is it like...
Yes, I wish they would announce the MVP after the regular season so he would know this going into the playoffs. Yes. I, in a perfect world, Will, would love for all the voters to come out and say they're voting for Cal Raleigh. And that way, that's the narrative going into the postseason. I want that. And I'll say as a Yankee fan, look, statistically speaking, Judge has better numbers. There's voter fatigue. There's narrative. All the narratives point towards Cal Raleigh. as someone that has seen Aaron Judge win a couple MVPs as a Yankee fan,
matter.
I really don't give a shit if he wins another one.
Yeah.
I really don't. You know what I care about? A monstrous postseason. You say A-Rod 09, leave your mark on the Yankees. Hey, whatever it might be, please change the rules. Announce who the MVP is going to be, because I want Judge to have that ultimate chip on his shoulder. It's too bad we got to wait until November to find out, you know?
No, I'm hoping we get the LeBron 2012 or 2011 Derrick Rose series where it's like, oh, I'm still the best player in the league, buddy. Last thing, JJ, Ryder Cup kicking off tomorrow.
Got my shirt on. I'm ready to go. I wish I was going.
I was supposed to go Sunday. Tickets are
outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous. Should have rented my house out for an Airbnb.
You should have. You could have made a good chunk of change on that. Seriously.
My own decision by me. What do you, I guess, two quick ones. What are you most excited for? And are we going to be singing Europe is Terrified? The USA is on fire on Sunday afternoon.
Listen, I think the European team is deeper than the American team. However, I think the Americans have the two best players in the world going, and that makes a world of difference. You got Scheffler, who needs to be automatic. You have DeChambeau, who I think is going to tear that place up because he can just bomb it, and bomb it some more. I think the course terrain actually favors a lot of the American players. I am worried about the overall roster depth because to me, the Europeans have a top to bottom much better team than the Americans. Stars got to be the difference. And listen, I'm not picking the Europeans. Come on.
Yeah.
Bethpage Black. You got a bunch of JJs out there yelling and screaming. And not because they're hitting shots into the rough that aren't going anywhere. USA. I bet it minus 146. Probably stupid.
This is not political, but I can assure you that when Scotty, who's been very outspoken about his political beliefs, has Trump similar to the Judge thing on 9/11, I'd feel like we're going to get a 350-yard bomb and the crowd's going to be raucous. It's going to be a Long Island crowd. It's not political. It's just an observation. We saw the Kathy Hochul reaction yesterday. So I'm excited for it. JJ, guess plug whatever you got, and we'll enjoy the game on Monday.
Thanks, dude. New York, Sunday, Thursday, and after all the Yankee Met playoff games, depending on how many we have. Check me out, Sports Night, Baseball Night, New York on SNY. And then for all you NFL people who want winners or losers or all of the above, Ringer Gambling Show Monday and Thursday. So I think, Will, that covers it.
Yeah. Appreciate it for listening. Got a special new partnership to announce that I'll put out on Twitter later today. Appreciate it for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.